What's up, people? YouTube, this is here bringing you guys another video to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about, yet again, Call of Duty Vanguard. Now, the reveal was just a couple days ago, and I think a lot of people are really excited about it, myself included. I got some things I'm really looking forward to, and I can't wait to get into the year of Call of Duty, especially after Cold War. More details on that later, but I do have some concerns about Vanguard that I would like to discuss now. And I know that I don't have much of a following here, but if there's any slim chance that maybe this video does really well, or maybe it gets shared to just the right person, maybe some of these things that I talk about in this video could potentially see change if it's heard by enough people, or if it's being repeated by enough people, other content creators, things like that. So we're going to be discussing my concerns about Vanguard in this video, things that I think could really hurt the game and all that. This is mostly going to cover multiplayer aspects. I'm not really worried about campaign, so we're going to cover all that in this video. But before we do that, if you could hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell notification, any of that stuff to help the channel out, I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get back into the habit of uploading content regularly, and that all just helps my channel get more exposure. Comment down below if there's anything that you guys are concerned about with Vanguard heading into it, if there's anything that you think is going to potentially hurt the game significantly. So let's go ahead and let's jump into it. First and foremost, I am very concerned about multiplayer. I was not the hugest fan of Modern Warfare's multiplayer, and it runs on the same engine. Now, I do understand that the engine does not mean the game's going to feel the same. Call of Duty has run on the same engine prior to Modern Warfare for a very long time, and there is a very distinct feeling between a Treyarch game and an Infinity Ward game and a Sledgehammer game prior to Modern Warfare. So I'm not horribly concerned about the games feeling similar. What I am concerned about is they're having similar elements within the maps. So first of all, the minimap has to be there. It has to be there. It should have never left in the first place. The maps have to make sense. I don't want to see a bunch of maps where it's just a war-torn city just plopped down in an area for you to play in, and there's no flow, there's no rhythm. It doesn't make any sense. That was one of the big issues with Modern Warfare for me. There were 100 windows at every angle. There was no flow. Call of Duty performs better, no matter what you want to say. Call of Duty performs better with arcade style maps, and that's just something that has to be there. The lighting has to be right. I don't want to have to be squinting trying to see people constantly. People should stand out by themselves. Again, this is an arcade shooter. This is not a Battlefield game. This is not a tactical shooter. It's an arcade shooter. That's the foundation that Call of Duty has been built on for years, and they need to remain as strong as they can to that element, in my personal opinion. So bright maps, or it can even be a dark map, just as long as people stand out when they're running around and I don't feel like they're sitting in shadows and dark caves like Modern Warfare. That was one of my least favorite parts about that entire game. It was a mess. The spawn system has to be on point as well. You don't have to have the best spawn system ever. I don't think Cold War spawn system is great. It's not the best thing that Treyarch's ever come out with. I think personally the Black Ops 2 spawns are the best spawns we've ever had in a Call of Duty game, and Cold War isn't that. But I can tell you what it also isn't. It's not Modern Warfare 2019. It's not Call of Duty Ghosts. Those two games have the worst spawn systems I've ever seen in the Call of Duty franchise, and we cannot see spawns like that again because it just felt so pointless constantly. Now, I'm going to talk about like more detailed game mechanics now as far as multiplayer goes. I want to kind of touch on the streak system a little bit. I think that the streaks need to be returned to the standard kill streak system. I've seen some leaks and rumors that are suggesting that that is what it's going to be. I don't care if they're score streaks. I don't care if they're kill streaks. I would prefer score streaks, but either one is okay with me. It cannot be the Cold War system where they're just glorified power-ups, where pretty much everybody gets their streak by the second half of the game, and it's just nothing but a rain of streaks for the last 5 to 10 minutes of the game, and it's bad. It's horrendous, and that can't be a thing going into this new Call of Duty, because it just kills the drive to want to play Call of Duty multiplayer. I've never been a huge person for going for streaks or anything necessarily, but when you constantly know that every single game you play, there's like a 90% chance you're just going to get dumped on with streaks, whether you're annihilating the other team or not, is not a good feeling. So streaks can't happen the way that they did in Cold War. That brings me to my next topic. I've also seen things suggesting that dead silence is not going to be a perk in this new game. Again, I think that is a huge mistake. I don't think that that caters well to a more arcadey, fast-paced playstyle. I understand that all playstyles should be usable. There shouldn't be a single playstyle that you just absolutely can't do. But in Modern Warfare 2019, as well as other Call of Duties in the past, there have been things that have been implemented to really pound home one particular playstyle, and that is camping. So dead silence being an ability instead of a perk is one of those things, because it hurts you to move. If you move, everybody on the map is going to hear you, especially if they're using the same skill-based matchmaking algorithm that they've been using for a couple years now, like especially bad in Cold War. You are going to be getting put in skilled lobbies that are ridiculous if you are even remotely good at the game. You're going to be playing against people who are using headsets that have their sound cranked to the max, and they're going to hear every single footstep that you make, every single movement, and it's going to slow down the pace of the game a lot. And when that happens, it's going to hurt the multiplayer. It's going to play slower. It's not going to have a well-rounded guns up feeling. The main focus of a Call of Duty game needs to be the gunplay. There needs to be as much head-on-head action, getting into gunfights, and that skill-based matchmaking combined with dead silence being an ability instead of a perk doesn't help any of that. It really motivates a heavy camping playstyle, and it's okay if you really want to be a camper. Then that's, you know, you can do what you want to do. I understand in some scenarios, even for the camo grind, you have to do it, but it can't be something that is the main playstyle, that is the easiest one to do, that is the it can't be the thing that they push for the most. And honestly, this new mounting and blind fire thing has me concerned that that's going to lean into it even more. Back in Modern Warfare, the mounting and leaning ability pretty much forced people to, again, cater to that camping playstyle where you have to get 100 kills while you're mounted onto something. So you go into maps, and in the main routes of the map, you got people just mounted up on the sides of walls, barrels, cars, whatever, spraying down everybody because they have to get that camo. And I did it myself. I got Damascus. I understand that you had to do it if you wanted that camo, but I don't think that we should have camos tied to that, and I don't think that those things need to be used as a crutch or a main thing that people have to focus on. I think they should just be a small side thing. I'm not too horribly concerned about blind fire, because from the sounds of it, it's going to be a very wide hip fire, and it's going to be one of those things that as soon as you see it, you're going to have time 99% of the time to get out the way before you probably even take damage or take very much damage. So I'm not super concerned about the blind fire. It's another mechanic that I think is just kind of, you know, whatever. It's just, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think there's going to be some moments where you get hit with some cheese from blind fire, or you see clips where they happen to get a bunch of kills in a blind fire moment at just the right time. So I don't think blind fire is going to be a huge deal. The things I'm really concerned about are streaks, catering to that campy playstyle with things like mounting or even blind fire, technically, dead silence being an ability. All of those things I'm really concerned about. Those will determine how much I enjoy this game. A couple more things I want to talk about in terms of multiplayer is the camo grind and skill-based matchmaking / time to kill, kind of that thing. Skill-based matchmaking, just to get this out the way, I would love to see this reduced. There's always been skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty, but I need to see it return to what it was in the early days of Call of Duty. This current system is not enjoyable. There are other games that have already gone out there and said, I believe Splitgate, Battlefield, and Halo, I believe, I could be wrong on some of those, have said that they won't have strict skill-based matchmaking in their game. And I'm hoping, you know, probably not this year, but I'm hoping that Activision sees this, Call of Duty in general sees this, they see that people are really enjoying it, and hopefully if the competition is close enough, they will say, okay, we can remove this and people are going to play our game because, one, we're Call of Duty, and two, a lot of people are going to enjoy that. I understand that there are bad players who feel like the skill-based matchmaking system is benefiting them, and to an extent you're right, because you aren't ever running into situations where you're probably getting absolutely thrashed, or it's happening very rarely. But one thing I can tell you is when I was coming up playing Call of Duty and I was going through those scenarios where I was getting thrashed, or I was playing with friends who were really, really good and I was just getting destroyed, it motivated me to want to play better. I literally put in the time, I put in the hours, and I worked towards getting better. And in some of those situations, it took a long time because I was in school, I was working jobs, I was like any other person, and I was putting in the same amount of time that anybody else could have been doing, or if they wanted to improve at the game. So there's not really an excuse for people to want to keep skill-based matchmaking in there, aside from the fact that it just makes your life easier while also harming the most dedicated player base in Call of Duty. And with that issue, I think that the time to kill needs to be evaluated very closely. I felt like in Modern Warfare 2019, you died in an instant. It felt like hardcore a lot of the time, especially with the headshot multipliers. I don't think that there needs to be headshot multipliers, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be there, whatever I can get over that. The time to kill needs to be similar to Cold War. I feel like I need to be putting damage on a person for them to die. Again, that goes back to the arcadey thing. I feel like it prevents getting cheesed as much as possible. Now, Cold War, the multiplayer aspect, I'll be honest, I have struggled with all year long. It's probably the worst I've ever been in a Call of Duty game, and I don't have an explanation for it. Part of it is skill-based matchmaking, for sure, but another part of it is like, it feels like I can't stay on target. It feels like I can't keep my shots consistent, and that's never been an issue that I've had in a Call of Duty, especially in the last 5-6 years. So it came out of nowhere for me, and I've even gone back to Modern Warfare 2019 to unlock a gun or work on a camo, and just like anything I've ever played before, I instantly snapped right back into how I've always played. I felt fine. I went back and I played CoD World War II this year, and same thing, I instantly snapped back into it and I was fine. But Cold War, I don't know if it's the aim assist, I don't know what it is, but I can't seem to stay on target. I find myself getting outgunned in situations where I would have easily won the gunfight in any other Call of Duty game, and it happens like numerous times a match. So that kind of stuff really hurts me when I try to play Cold War multiplayer, and so I don't have any confidence in the multiplayer of Cold War, and I just really hope that I don't see that translate over to Call of Duty Vanguard. Now, I don't think that it will, because again, they're running on different engines, and maybe the engine has something to do with it. I think that if anything, it might feel more like Modern Warfare, but I would still like to see that time to kill match what is in Cold War, because the time to kill, I don't think is the issue, and I've always preferred games that had a high or a slower time to kill, I guess. This video is definitely getting a little bit long, and I'm sorry, I'm going to try to wrap it up soon, but the last thing in the multiplayer that I want to talk about is the camo grind. I feel that the camo grind has to be worthwhile, and it has to be plentiful. There has to be a lot of content in the camo grind. I want to see Zombies camos return. I think that Zombies camos were amazing. They're my favorite part of Cold War, like, to be 100% honest. I didn't care that much about the multiplayer camo grind for Cold War, and to be, again, completely honest, at a certain point, once they buffed Flak Jacket and they nerfed some of the rocket launchers and stuff, it became impossible to get that camo, like damn near impossible. So impossible that I'm not trying to get it. Like I don't care. Like, I'm a camo grind person, but the camo doesn't look that good. And for what I have to do to try to get it, it's just not, my mental health can't handle that. I could do everything besides the rocket launchers. I could confidently say I could probably do that, but it's bad. It's not worth it. So camo grind for CoD Vanguard, I need something that is, there's got to be a lot of camos. I want to see Zombies camos come back. I want to see a multiplayer camo system that's not jank like Cold War's was, and I also want to see some push on the more long-term camo grind. So instead of, you know, rewarding people for 100 headshots and then, you know, 20 crouch or 25 crouch kills, or however they usually do it, 100 kills with no attachments, 100 kills with all attachments, all that stuff, do all of that to get the regular camos. That's fine, and make sure there's lots of camos, very similar to the last couple games. But on top of that, I want to see a long-term camo grind where if you get, you know, 10,000 headshots, you get this camo. If you get I don't know, just a collective of 10,000 kills or whatever with a singular gun, you get this camo for it. I want to see that right away or very soon after launch, because that gives me a reason to get through the dark matter grind or whatever it's going to be, and then get on to that next thing. I think that's really important. I don't have much to touch on when it comes to Warzone, but I am excited that there's going to be a bigger map. I just want to make sure that the map size compared to the player count makes sense. I don't want to see the same player count we have now going into a bigger map, because it's going to slow things down. I think that Fortnite really messed up when they went into their new map, because I felt like the map was bigger. Maybe it wasn't, but it felt bigger, it felt harder to navigate, and I think that that really hurt the game. So I want to make sure that the player count goes up to like 200 or something for the bigger map size. And I would also like to see additional game modes within Warzone. I love BR, and it's fun, but I don't want to always play BR. I would love to use this giant sandbox style map that they've created to do more than just BR. You know, big team modes, objective things where one team's fighting against another. There should be a lot more of that stuff, and they need to be in rotation all the time, not just, oh, this week we've got mini BR, next week we've got regular BR with more health, the next week we've got this other version of BR, and then it's like, here's the thing you're talking about. Here's a game mode that you can play that's not BR focused. And then it goes away in 2 weeks, and then it's back to that same thing. There needs to be a selection of game modes for BR that's not just Battle Royale. I think that that would be really good for Warzone. Last part of the video here, I want to talk about zombies. So the continuation of zombies into Vanguard is something I'm really happy about, but I want to see a true continuation. I don't want to start playing Vanguard and go to the zombie section and notice that there are no perks or very little perks, like at the launch of Cold War. One map, no outbreak. You basically go back on all the things that they have released in Cold War. Now, I know that it might not make sense story-wise as to why this technology is available then, when it originally shouldn't have been. I don't care about that. I care about the gameplay being fun. And I think that a part of making sure that the gameplay is fun is ensuring that all of these things that we've come to know and love from Cold War are there at launch. Perks, abilities, all that stuff, weapon mods, all those things that we have grown to like, equipment, all that needs to be there at launch in Vanguard, because those are all things that made Cold War great, and it's only gotten better over the years, and it would feel very, very strange to get into Vanguard and for it to be a complete setback from what we have been playing for a year in Cold War. Now, I'm not expecting them to have a bunch of maps at launch. I'm not expecting that if Outbreak is there for it to be this giant fleshed out experience that we currently have. You know, if there's a 3-map rotation or Outbreak to start, I'm okay with that. If there is at least 2 maps at launch for Vanguard, regular zombies, I'm okay with that. There needs to be more than 1, but if there's at least 2 and there is they have as much replay value as Cold War, I am also okay with that. But that is pretty much everything that I had to talk about in this video. If you guys did like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Again, it helps the channel grow, reach more people, and potentially give me reason to try to do as much as possible on this channel. Anyways, guys, deuces.